All right, so now we're going to start two-step equations. All right, so on two-step equations, obviously there's two steps. So let's start here on number 9. All right, the equation 6x plus 8 equals 50. You generally always want to get rid of the number, okay, meaning we're solving for x. So you want to get rid of the number that does not have the letter attached to it, meaning we want to get rid of this number first. So what we need to do to get rid of that number is the opposite of what it is, meaning it's a positive 8. So what we want to do is we want to subtract the 8 to the other side, which cancels the 8 out, and it leaves us with 6x equals 42. And then the second step, what we're going to do is we're going to take 42, we're going to divide by 6. 42 divided by 6 is 7. And that's our answer. Okay, next problem. So we've got number 10. All right, on number 10, we've got 2n minus 5 equals 11. We want to get rid of the negative 5 first. How do we get rid of it? We're going to add the 5 to the other side so that this cancels out. All right, which leaves us with 2n equals 6, because 11 minus 5 is 6. And then pretty simple math from here. Divide by 2, n equals 3. Number 11. So number 11, what we've got here is we've got 13 minus 4k equals, 13 equals negative 4k plus 9. What we want to do is we want to get rid of the positive 9. So we're going to subtract it to the other side. So that gives us 13 minus 9 is 4 equals negative 4k. And then we're going to divide by negative 4. And we're going to get negative 1 equals k. Number 12. So don't let this, because this is kind of switched around, don't let it really fool you. You've got 7 minus 3y equals 34. You still need to get rid of the number that is not attached to the letter, meaning we still need to get rid of this 7 first. All right? Now, there's not a sign in front of it. If there's not a sign in front of the 7, it's assumed to be positive. So to get rid of it, we need to subtract the 7 to the other side to cancel that out, which leaves us with negative 3y equals 27. And then divide by negative 3, y equals negative 9. Now, on the first 4 examples, if you noticed the last step that I've done on each of these two-step equations has been division on each of these last steps. So the second step is normally division on two-step equation. All right, so let's come down here. Now, little bit tougher example problems, okay, starting on number 13. So now we've got a fraction here, all right? So we still need to get rid of the number, okay, that is not associated with the letter, meaning this negative 7 is kind of by itself. So we need to get rid of that first, because it's the easiest thing to get rid of. So it's a negative 7, so we're going to add it to the other side. All right, that cancels it out on this side. Basically, we're going to drop this down. 9 plus 7 is 16. All right, so now Same thing as we had in the one-step equations, we need to get rid of the bottom of the fraction. So in order to get rid of the bottom of the fraction, meaning the number on the bottom, we're going to multiply by the number on the bottom to get rid of the number on the bottom. So that leaves me with x equals, and then 16 times 2 is 32. Should be our answer. All right. Number 14. Okay, this problem right here switched around a little bit on you. All right, but you can still see that this 8 right here is kind of by itself. So that's what we need to get rid of first. So it's a positive 8, meaning to cancel it and move it to the other side, we need to subtract 8 on both sides. So that cancels that out. 11 minus 8 is 3. And now this is what we have. All right. To get rid of the negative 5 on the bottom, I'm going to multiply by negative 5 on the bottom. Oops, not negative 15, negative 5, sorry. All right. So that cancels that out on the bottom. And what we have is 3 times negative 5 is negative 15 equals C. And that would be our answer. Number 15. 3/5 x plus 22 equals 28. So again, we want to get rid of the number that it's kind of off by itself, that's not attached to the letter. So meaning this 22 is what we want to get rid of first. So to get rid of it, it's a positive 22, so we're going to subtract it to the other side. Meaning this cancels out on this side, and we've got 3 over 5x equals 6. Because 28 minus 22 is 6. Now, all right, in order to, and I'm actually going to write this a little bit better. That way it makes a little bit more sense. There we go. So again, you have a fraction. And if you want to keep it consistent the way that we've been doing it, okay, you can get rid of the number on the bottom by multiplying by the number on the bottom. That cancels it out. So it leaves me with 3x equals 30. And then, obviously, divide by 3, x equals 10 is our answer. All right, number 16. Okay, so again, that 1 is kind of off by itself. So that's the easiest one to get rid of first. So we're going to subtract it to the other side because it is positive and it cancels that out. So it leaves me with negative 1/3 m equals, and now be careful with your negatives, negative 7 minus 1 is negative 8. Okay, so now for this notice how I put the negative on the top. Generally, always the negative in a fraction is applied to the top. So in order to get rid of the bottom of the fraction, I'm going to multiply by the bottom of the fraction. So that cancels that out. It leaves me with negative 1m. Negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by negative 1. Keep in mind, a negative over negative is a positive, so 24 divided by 1 is 24, and that is our answer. Number 17. Again, they kind of switch it around on you a little bit. So what we need to look at is what number, meaning obviously we're solving for p, right? Okay, so what number is kind of by itself? Well, this negative 10 is by itself, so we need to get rid of it. And it is a negative 10. So to get rid of it and move it to the other side, we need to add 10 to the other side. Now that cancels out, and be careful with this, okay? You've got negative 38 plus 10, okay? So obviously this drops down. Negative 38 plus 10 is negative 28. All right? So now, what we need to do is we need to, I'm going to write this P a little bit better, get rid of the bottom of the fraction. How do we get rid of it? Well, we're going to multiply by the bottom of the fraction in order to get rid of it. So that leaves us with 7p equals, and then we've got negative 28 times 4, which is negative 112. And then last but not least, we divide by 7. Okay? So negative 112 divided by 7 is negative 16. And that is our answer. Keeping it consistent. Number 18. All right? So again, what we're looking at is we find that this is the side that we're going to be solving for because it has the x. All right? Now, what number is kind of by itself? This 9 is by itself on this side. So that's the easiest one to get rid of. Now, if you look at this negative sign right here, right, that I just circled, the negative sign is on the 1/2, not on the 9. So the 9 is actually positive. So in order to move that to the other side, okay, and get rid of it, we need to subtract 9 to each side. That would cancel that out. All right? 15 minus 9 is 6. And then again, I apply the negative to the top. Now, just like we've been doing, real simple, to get rid of the bottom of the fraction, you multiply by the bottom of the fraction. Okay, so that gives me 12 equals negative 1x, and then divide by negative 1. Remember, you always divide by the number that's attached to the x. Okay, sometimes that's on the right, sometimes it's on the left. Most of the time the x is on the left, but occasionally, like this problem right here, the x ends up on the right. So make sure to divide by the number. Whoops, actually hit that. Make sure to divide by the number that is attached to the x, which in this case would be this negative 1. All right, and then obviously our final answer, 12 divided by negative 1 is negative 12, and our answer is negative 12. All right. Now, these are kind of fun right here. You've got a full-fledged fraction, okay? And it's very similar to the way that I've been teaching you to do it, okay, throughout these problems. When you have a full-fledged fraction like this, you want to get rid of the bottom of the fraction. And that's why I've been showing you this the whole entire time, because you do it the exact same way. In order to get rid of the bottom of the fraction on this type of problem, you're going to multiply by the bottom of the fraction, just like I've been doing. So that cancels out. Okay, I drop down the x plus 11, and then negative 3 times 8 is negative 24. And then it just becomes a one-step equation. Okay, I need to get rid of the 11. It's a positive 11, so I'm going to subtract it to the other side. That cancels out. X drops down. Be careful with your negatives. Negative 24 minus 11 is negative 35. Number 20. So again, we've got a fraction. We need to get rid of the bottom of the fraction first. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply by -2 to get rid of the bottom of the fraction. So that's now gone. The n minus 5 drops down. Watch your negatives over here. Okay, -7 times -2 is positive 14. And now we need to get rid of the -5. How do we get rid of the -5 and move it to the other side? Well, it's negative, so we're going to add it. So that cancels out right here. That's what we want to do. We want to cancel it to get it away from the letter. All right? And so we've got 14 plus 5, which is 19. And that's our answer. 21. Okay? So, once again, we want to get rid of the bottom of the fraction first. So we're going to multiply by -6 on each side. So that cancels out. -6 times 1 is -6. And then the a minus 13 just drops down. Now, we were solving for a, so we need to get rid of the -13. How we get rid of it, we need to do the opposite. So we're going to add the 13 to the other side. That way it cancels out. -6 plus 13 is positive 7 equals a. And that's our answer. Hopefully you're starting to get the hang of it a little bit. Last one, number 22. Okay, so once again, you've got a fraction. You want to get rid of the bottom of the fraction first. So we're going to multiply by 9 to get rid of the bottom of the fraction. 9 times 4 is 36. Now we're going to drop down the w plus 8. Last step, we've got to get rid of the positive 8. So we're going to subtract it to the other side. That way that cancels out. And then 36 minus 8, okay, is 28 equals W. And that would be your final answer. All right? And that takes us to the end of two-step equations. Hopefully you guys have an idea and understand how the two-step equation works. If you guys have questions, make sure you email me. Okay, I also will be, I can schedule office hours. All right, if you email me on the weekends, I've got everything else posted in Canvas.